Working front, head, and arm. I see some new faces, so we'll recapture, but we're going to go off of one particular drill, okay? Keep it pretty simple, it's how we'll start, and then we'll add to it. So people have never, they're new to the room. You basically, this happens all the time. You may say, like, when does it happen? Go to side control for me, right? You're here like this, and they're pushing you away. And you're going, shit. Like, I can't do anything about these frames, and now this knee is sliding in. BJJ 101, right? Knee elbow escaping. And now you're going like this, and you're going, you have a choice. Most people in the beginning stages of their career, they start fighting to come back in, and it's just fighting and fighting. As they're fighting, he's pushing even higher, and now he makes a little separation here, and he curls that leg over the top, and he puts it over my face, and now he recovers. He pushes me away a little bit, and now the feet reset. Happens all the time. So instead of me fighting strength for strength and getting into a battle down here and the knee lines and this leg coming over, I go the other way, right? And that's how this position will start. We're like this, and Nathan pushes me away, and I go, oh, instead of me fighting strength, I end up turning on this kneecap and just backstepping. So as Nathan comes to turtle, I go, here I am, right? Because he has a choice, because I'm not going to fight down there, and I'm not going to let you wedge that in between us, and I'm going to start coming up here to start attacking and doing. So we're going to start from there. Happens all the time from a lot of different sequences, from passing, from passing vertical on your sides, a lot of different sequences. So we'll start from here, right? We're here like this, just like this, right? And the other day, this is where we're going to take it, right? We have a chin strap and we have an elbow, okay? We're pulling his base out, and now we're pulling aggressively for reasons also. Because in real fighting, or like some form of self-defense stuff, he's going to want to stand up. He doesn't know anything. He's never ground fight. He's just whatever. We got into a tussle. He falls like this. He tried to take me down. Potentially, we ended up in an altercation against a wall. We land. And the last thing I want him to do is stand back up, because I'm a ground fighter, and then anybody has a chance with a haymaker punch once they get back up. So I'm aggressively ripping this down, because he needs his elbows to retract in order for him to get basing on below and start going vertical, right? So as I'm pulling this out like this, I'm like this, okay? Now I'd love to be able to connect my hands. So we're sitting here like this, and this is how we left off. I start pulling this elbow, and I'd love to connect my hands. So I take this leg, the one I'm tapping on the ground, and I make a wedge point behind here. We said that we have different things we could do. If I don't like the situation, I could always return back to a neutral position. So there's no danger. I could just take this leg out and be right back where I started. I also may decide that I can't connect my hands. So because my kneecap is right here, it's easy for me to pivot to this back quadrant, right? So I'm in a good spot. I'm not in any danger. I can take it a couple of different ways, but this time I'm attacking, okay? So I'm going to attempt to dump him over and attack him, right? And now he'll turn left and right. This is how we left off, right? I'm pulling this out. I make a wedge point. I now can connect my hands. I'd love to dump him over. So this is what I would love to do. I'd love to drop back, bring this instep in, kick him over, connect behind this elbow, and transfer to an anaconda. That's what I would love to do. But he's going to turn left and right before I get this kneecap over, because right now the only thing I have is position behind this tricep. But sometimes they will come up, and this is what we did last time. They come up, and as they come up, I pair my hands the other way, and now start attacking this way, right? But it is what it is, right? I can't decide which way he's going to go. So this sequence here we're doing, he's going to fight to get his back to the mat towards me, right? So as I pulled out like this, I made my wedge point, I connected my hand, I start trying to dump him over, I miss. And now he's fighting to bring his back to the mat. So I am going to, top hand, loop it through. I'm going to have some conscious contact. I can't take credit for that saying, but Steve Maraboli gave me that saying just beautifully. It is conscious contact, that you're like aggressively and also consciously understanding that my head position is all I have left behind this position, this tricep. So I'm holding the position so tight that I'm squeezing my head into your chest. That allows me now to hold, so because really I have three things right now. I have this hand behind this tricep. I have this hand holding a little bit of the tricep, and I have my head. So I have 3 reinforcements holding the position. I'm gonna let go with my right hand. So I got 2 now, my head position and my hand position. I'm gonna loop my hand position in, and I'm gonna shoot it. And this is where we left off now. This hand's gonna shoot towards this hip, because as I shoot, I'm gonna scissor my legs and come up. So it'll be one smooth motion. Top hand that's behind this tricep is just gonna drop to his neckline and grab his chin strap. So as I'm sitting here, I'm holding 2 positions, head, and I'm holding the tricep to prevent him from fully turning. He decided to go this way. I would have loved for him to go the other way, but it is what it is. You never know. So I'm sitting here like this. I loop this hand through. As I'm scissoring my legs, I'm dropping my hand, the one that when wiggling my fingers, it's gonna go to his chin. So in one smooth motion, as I come over the top, I'm sitting here with a chin strap. When you get to this point, don't bring him up. Aggressively try to get his back supine, because what I'm trying to do is get his chin to exit and curl up. I'm not only killing his windpipe, I'm killing his blood supply, I'm killing everything for him to breathe and a part of his arteries. Just be careful when you do it live, because I can easily rupture his disc from that position. It's a terrible position to be in. Young Martin, he recently recorded Pedro Marino doing it in a competition. It's the first time I saw her doing a comp. It happened about 6 or 7 weeks ago. Pedro did it beautiful. And then young Martin, I don't know what he just sits on. I don't know where he is right now, but he must sit on TikTok all day, because he found another one of someone else doing it to somebody else, that same position. Okay, so one more time, guys. Right. So also when you're doing the move, just don't go through the move. Like, have like a thought process and like really think it out. Like, everybody in here wakes up so early to come here. Like, really think the move out. Like, visualize it. You know, there's a great thing about this gentleman that was a Vietnam veteran, and he was like a POW for 5 years, was an avid golf player. And then when he came out, he shot like an 80. I know, I've played golf before. If you can shoot in the 80s, you're not a pro, but damn, for the average golfer, you are freaking good. And they asked him, like, you haven't played in 5 years? And he said, no, I've actually been playing twice a day, every day for 5 years. And it's here. And every high-level player plays visualization training, every. So when you're going through the motions, like, visualize it, like visualize in your head. It's so critical if the level you want to play. And if you've gotten up at 5 o'clock to get to Manhattan, to get to this class, you should be doing that, right? So when you're pulling this out, I'm yanking, 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 make wedge point, connect my hands, I dump over, I miss. He's fighting to get to his back, and I'm here wedged. I can drop one hand, I reach for his hip line. As I'm reaching, hand that's wiggling is going to his chin strap, legs are scissoring, I'm up. And now I'm cranking and pulling out the backside with the neck. Let's do it, guys. 1, 2, 3. Matt had a great question. You're like this at this point, right? And you're sitting here. Let me have this on. Right? You're like this, right? And now you were here, right? And I went, oh man, I'm coming up like this. If they came up also, then I would come back to my guillotine on this, right? So you can, the problem is that people say, like, why didn't you do a guillotine? But that's, you know, his back, he was fighting to put his back on the mat. So the problem is that I would love to get my leg behind this pocket, right? So this is what I'd love. If I was on a, so let me explain it from this position. No, go to side control, side control. Let's say I'm like this. I'm trying to pass, and I get position, right? And I'm trying to drive, and I backstep on this neck. And now I would love to take this leg and capture behind this arm. That's what I'd love to do, because the problem is if I don't capture this arm, and now Ethan beats me before I get a high elbow, as he comes up, he's gonna drive into my neckline, and now he's either gonna choke me out, or I gotta let go, and now I'm in a bad position, or I'm not long enough or strong enough to dump him over, and now I have to let go of everything. I can't even get my hand out, and I'm probably gonna pass out, because he's driving so tight into my neck. And I'm sitting here like this. So on that particular sequence, when I was like this, I'm passing, I wrap this neck, and now I'm going, oof, I'm on the back side of this neck, now choking him. Or potentially what I'd love to do is get this leg on top of you. So I eliminate this arm before you come up, because I would love to go high elbow guillotine. You'll kick it. I would love to go high elbow guillotine, but I have to understand what potentially, yeah, in the perfect world, like come up and let me adjust my hands, but in like quarter-second speeds, like you're not going to get up fast enough, and you're not going to clear the shoulder line. So it's nothing wrong. It's all like how you paint it, but he really paints it for you, and then you follow. So when you're sitting here like this, and the reason I came up like this when I went inside here and I come up is because he was fighting to put his back on the mat. So how would I get this leg over? I wouldn't be able to. That's why I came up, and now I start coming back the other way. When I'm doing it, Jeff had a great question too. When you're doing a Kimura, it's the same hip switch. The only thing different in Kimura is that when I'm in a Kimura set, and he's like this, and this leg comes up, I want to keep this pocket open with this leg so that I can take this arm and put it behind his back. But this is different, right? Because I'm not in there, and I don't need that pocket. And really what I want to do is keep your back to the mat, turn your head as aggressively, bring your head up as high up as possible, and then rip the chin line out the back. And now I'm going to either dislodge some of those discs, they're going to pop on you, or you're going to have a difficult time, like really difficult time breathing. Like you're not going to get air. Like your chin line is retracted into your neckline. So I just wanted to share those two questions with you. Potentially, and John used to do it all the time in nightclubs. He'd push a guy up against the wall. Johnny, if you know, Johnny, he honestly, like, people don't know his history. Johnny literally fought every night at nightclubs. He worked at the toughest place. He worked at the Crane Club. He worked hip hop night. He worked them all, man. And he had to take guys out. And his favorite thing was to push guys up against the wall, snap them down, and do a 10-finger guillotine. Master Renzo loves that move also. It's a great move. Not everybody could do it because of hand size and string size. And also, they'll start swinging their hips. And sometimes, I say this, is that sometimes moves are shown, and yeah, they were successful 20 years ago. And now, it's like, man, like this guy knows something. Like years ago, you could do anything to him. You could do a bolt cutter, right? And now try to do a bolt cutter on a high-level guy. Like you couldn't control his hips. You couldn't. And now he's bigger. He's get out of here. Like, you know, like, yeah, you got to give me the bolt cutter. And before, you know what somebody would do in a bolt cutter? They'd fight their necks. And now the guy won't even touch your neck. He'll just touch here, swing his hips, adjust his arteries, and now get the hell out of there, and you just lost the position, right? So you got to understand, like, when was that shown and when was it? And like, so you can potentially do it. I'll take it from that position. I'm already on his neck, right? So I'm sitting here like this. And it could also happen because if I don't shoot the hand in this pocket, right, I have to shoot the hand on top because my hands were behind his tricep the whole time. So when I was sitting here like this, what I mean by it, I'm sitting here like this. And now when I dumped him over, my hand positions were here. And what if I got to come up quickly? And I'm going, but I told you before that I'm like trying to snake this out, and I want to be athletic. Right now, I kind of view him, even though I have the position, athletically in a scramble, I always view the guy that has body line on top of the other body line as a little bit better chance, because if we dislodge on a scramble, Ethan is up before I am, right? He's got body presence in front. I have positional presence, right? So I may decide that I'm like, damn, I don't think I can get this hand and come up fast enough. So I may decide to hold its position either this way or this way with 3 lines of contact and just come up and be right here. So I'll show it from this position, right? Open out. When you come up, I was on a chin strap, right? But my hand now is on this side of the body, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your chin strap and you're just gonna grab onto your forearm and you're gonna create a pocket like this, right? This is where we were. I'm here like this on his neck, right? My hand was here. So now this hand is just gonna reach and I'm gonna close this artery. So think about it right now. This was on his chin, this hand was on the top. So when I let go of his chin and reach for this forearm, I have this V pocket here. When I start closing the V, remember his Adam's apple was right here? I'm starting to compress the arteries, right? So I take it a different way, right? So it's a 10-finger guillotine. I'm being honest with you. Like, you know, I say this all the time. It's like, you know, sometimes people, oh, why don't you teach this and why don't you teach that? My room is mostly older people. Like, why don't I teach inversions? Why don't you, like, dude, I lose the room. And if I go too crazy, then I really lose the room. Like, you know, people that come on Saturdays, I have to bring down the moves, because otherwise, if I look around, like, the room is too different. Like, this room follows the patterns and comes so consistently. So when you come up, I'm also telling you the truth, is that, yeah, I'm going to latch on this 10 finger, and now you're not powerful enough to squeeze, or you have small hands, and I'm trying to hold on to this wrist, and like, you got to be honest, in like high level, why don't you see it in high level play, right? But you don't see it in high level play because they start to swing the hips, and what kind of real grip do I have? But it does work. It does work. You just don't put it as part of your arsenal in a deep setting. You know, I was on an interview thing yesterday, and I was explaining BJJ and like how you should develop your game. And your development game should be a thought process that if you adopt, you drop. And that Mr. Don Danaher said to me many years ago when I wanted to implement certain moves. He said, be careful with that move. And I said, why? He said, because when you start adopting a move, you drop a move. And I could tell you every single one of you, because I watch every one of you, when you roll and you start getting tired, I'll see you do the same things over and over. I'll go, oh, he's going to move to his right. He's going to move to his right. He's going to try to drag the leg. He's going to do this. Like, I already know. I don't have to say it to myself, because I know you're fatigued and your linear sight goes like, so when you have something so ingrained in you to do, I can only say it one way. I have no filter on my mouth. You'll start doing banana moves. You'll start doing moves that have such low percentage. So be careful of what you add in your real game. You can play this. You can do this. You can do this 10 finger and stuff like, okay, don't go doing that as your money move, man. Like, either mount, start to get on side, like go and start attacking the leg. There's so many other places to go. Don't not keep that as your money move, okay? So it's a 10 finger, right? A little bit more time. So when you came up, you did everything exactly the same. You can start here if you want, so you get a little bit of practice on it. You're sitting here like this. I'll keep them up. I'm here on this chin strap. That's how I came up. The first time I came up through this pocket, that's where my hand was when I came up. I finished it like this. This time as I came up, I'm like this. But he's fighting to get to his back, the back to the mat. So I'm here fighting him without letting go of this chin strap. I'm going to lace this hand through. I'm going to attach this bottom hand to the outside of this forearm. This top hand, don't overextend it long. Understand where the arteries are. The arteries are sitting right here on these 45s. So this hand, keep it shallow. It's about compression. So when this hand grabs on, keep these, like the meaty part, sitting on this artery. So because when I start lifting with the back side, I'm pushing down on this artery. So now I'm closing that V pocket because the Adam's apple's right here. So as I start pulling, this guy kills this artery. What do I need with this guy? I need him shallow because I want to press into that artery. And that's how I pull him to sleep with that move. John Danaher, in standing, and I told that nightclub stuff, he would go on bicep grips, push them up against the wall, tie grip them down, finish them with a 10 finger, sit them down, grab their legs, pull them out to the curb, wait for them to stand up. That Johnny probably did that 200 times while he was at Columbia being getting a PhD and throwing people out at night from bars and nightclubs. And so that's his move. And Master Renzo, that's his move too. He loves that move also. But also understand when you can do it. It's not in that position, it's hard to hold those hips, man. They're going to swing those hips violently. In the old days, they'd go, man, guys like, oh, you just touch this, swing these, adjust the arteries. You can't control those hips. You have no wedge points on those hips. So let's do it, guys. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So, but I do have a chin strap, and I have the chin strap with the hand facing like this, right? That's how it all transpired. So he can't go that way. It's not possible because his neckline's looking this way. But he can come this way. And there is a probability, this is why I'm not that big a fan of the move, is like, how do I stop the swinging of those hips from rotating and him coming back up this way? Because all I had was body presence, and it's not like I can take this hand and wedge here. I'm sitting so high up here, I can't get my knee line deep enough under that hip. Like, He's got to be, I'm 5'8". He basically has to be about 4'10" for me to be under there and here. And that's not realistic. And why would I want to practice something that's so, it's like the percentage of that, like silly. So I have to understand that all I have is I'm pushing. And it's the only guillotine that you could do. He could be top player, side control on top, and you still finish him, right? So when you take this hand, I see people having this massive pocket. This hand was on a chin strap. You're sitting here like this on a chin strap. When you take this hand, it's literally sitting on this artery. This is where that artery, you can see the artery right now. My hand's sitting on the artery. My other hand's on a chin strap. The only thing different now on this chin strap, all I'm gonna do is release the chin strap and wrap my hand on the other side. And now I'm gonna rotate my shoulder to the ceiling and push him supine. Because all I could do is a little bit of pressure with the top, but as I pull my elbow to the ceiling, I close the V pocket, right? Because now I own the bottom artery even more. But also understand, I have to aggressively push him down, because if I don't have conscious contact of pushing the body to the mat, how do I stop the hips from the swivel? I'm basically trying to get 30 seconds to put you out. Like if I'm perfect on it, you'll go out in 5 to 7 seconds. If I'm not going to say the names, but on Saturday we were here on the side, and Andrew Owens had a detail on a move, and I showed the move a long time ago, where you go in a rear naked choke and you end up with one arm underneath and finish it. And it's a hard mechanic to fill. And then people are like, I don't know if you could do that. And I was like, you could do that. Like I've seen, but it's the first time one of the Rotolo brothers just finished that guy Isaac with that move. So now you get to see it on video. So the people that were kind of questioning it, but it's hard. And then the reason I'm saying is that when it's on, the person we were demonstrating it to, Andrew was demonstrating, it was about 5 seconds. And Jorge, if you know who he is, both of us were like, you dude, he's out, he's out. And it was that fast. So when you have arteries, it's that fast. In 5 seconds, he was like, and he was convulsing. It was 5 seconds. And Andrew was like, no, 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 he's not out. Dude, let him go. And he was out, when he was holding him up, like it was that fast. So I'm trying to buy arteries on this, right? So understand the mechanics of it, because I'm really trying to just get 10 seconds. And that's all I want. So make sure you're pushing the body down, because he's going to be swiveling this way hard, right? Can't go that way because I'm on a chin strap this way. So this hand placement is the detail that's so critical, that you be on that artery, that you're sitting here on this artery. And now, if I was perfectly with my chin strap like this, I'm now rotating. Now, Ethan could potentially, let's say everything goes wrong. Come up with me, right? Take side control. It's the only position that I can still finish this move from the top position. So worst case scenario, it'd be hard for him to get the side control, but he could jump and everything. So it's the only one that you could finish, right? You could have a guillotine, the guy could be top player on side control, and you can finish it. So it's a great move. I'm also at a position now, if he were to swivel hard, I don't have to worry about this arm anymore. It's not like I'm going head and arm. Like Master Renzo is pretty much the only one in this academy that can finish the head and arm. Maybe Jorge can, like George can, probably Coco. Big, you have to be powerful, man. Like it's a hard finish on a small guy, like when they're doing a head and arm. But now when he comes up, my hands are here. They could easily rotate. I come back the other way on a high elbow. So my hand's in a great spot, just not letting go of the neck. I'm not letting go of the neck. Okay, guys? You got about 2 minutes on drilling. If you want to practice that detail, try to. It's a great move in a real life setting. Let's do it, guys. 1, 2, 3.